Great, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm John Byrd, represent MAPS, the Association of Mapping and Geospatial Firms, as well as the National Society of Professional Surveyors. Probably want to compliment Elizabeth on the reference to Landsat. Big proponents and big supporters. And everyone's taking a look at innovation and where's the federal government's role. Back in 2006, the Federal Geographic Data Committee mentioned in its annual report that as much as 90% of government information has a geospatial component. So one suggestion and one question for the panel, if you're looking for a federal program where the Obama administration should receive a lot of credit for, in the business case for it, is a 3D elevation program within USGS, which is a nationwide enhanced elevation data program. 5-to-1 return on investment, 600 different public benefits to it. So the opportunity, quite frankly, when you take a look at the Internet of Things and the empowerment of the consumer, as well as smart cities and stewardship decisions, can you elaborate a little bit more on the newer technologies, the driverless cars, and the unmanned aerial systems that not only rely on accurate geospatial data to actually operate safely, but also are the actual platforms now and into the future for collecting geospatial data?
I'll just touch quickly on the, you mentioned autonomous vehicles. Mayor Walsh in Boston recently signed an executive order with the state of Massachusetts to begin creating policy around what it means, because it's not sort of an if but a when these kinds of things become either sort of gobble the city or they're coming. And so the best place to be is sort of proactively thinking about how we manage those kinds of realities. And so I think, I'm very bullish on the fact that there are a lot of people who I feel like are acknowledging at this point that this is a reality and that we need to build systems and policies around it. And so those have been positive. I think that we're still, obviously, we should have been doing this 5 years ago, maybe more. But it's at least promising to see where we're headed now.
Just on geospatial, so we had 2 years ago now a legislative agenda for Congress and around data innovation. And one of the things is around geospatial data with the Earth orbiting satellites. And our point was, so for those of you that aren't familiar with this very geeky concept, there's basically there's certain satellites that we use for a lot of this data that are at the end of the useful life cycle, right? And so there was going to be a gap, and basically the question is, well, what do we do about that gap? We can accelerate deploying the new satellites sooner. So is the government going to still be in the business of providing this data? But to do that, it would have to get data from the private sector, basically buy data and then make it available. And one of our points was that, yeah, absolutely. If the government makes a commitment that it's going to provide certain type of data, and then businesses rely on it, they need to uphold that commitment. I think that's part of this kind of thinking is, long term. We're building data utilities, data infrastructure, right? That's going to be used. And what role, after the government makes these commitments, does it have in really upholding them, especially as it becomes a core part of, how we're doing, different things, as you mentioned, autonomous vehicles. We're going to see, I think, a lot of this where there's digital infrastructure that feeds into, the success of autonomous vehicles, and we need to make sure that once we build it, we're maintaining it, and we have kind of the right programs in place to make that, digital infrastructure sustainable, just as we think about bridges.
And I think it's important to think about the full range of organizations that are involved from the satellites and the data, but the stuff that comes from the satellites is not useful in an autonomous vehicle. There's a lot of layers of processing, analysis, and combining with other sources. And so the data intermediary organizations make a huge difference in how you take the broad source of the data and apply it in different situations, and investing in the expertise and making sure those orgs have the right geospatial expertise. That goes back to capacity building and education, as almost all conversations do.